warm-ups for the vault, 17-year-old Chinese gymnast Sang Lan broke her neck. The early prognosis is paralysis. She remains this evening in the intensive care unit at Nassau County Medical Center and will undergo a spinal fusion operation this coming Friday. Sang Lan began gymnastics when she was 6 years old. At age 12, she moved 750 miles from her home in the town of Ningbo to the National Training Center in Beijing. Since then, her father, a house cleaner, and her mother, who works on the assembly line for a shoe manufacturer, have seen their only daughter once in the past 4 years. The United States and Chinese governments have expedited the parents' visas, and they are expected to arrive here on Friday, the same day that she'll undergo spinal fusion surgery. The organizing committee is paying for their flight to America. We'll have a means little sister. It is a nickname of endearment for her gregarious, talkative nature. Tonight, she's a frightened 17-year-old girl. Sang Lan broke her neck last night in warm-ups before the individual vault final, in which she was expected to contend for a medal.
When she left the vaulting board, her body was turning over. The plan was to put her hands on the horse and turn over and land on your feet. And she went a little bit past her feet and hit her head on the mat. And this is a warm-up vault. It's not a competitive vault, and it was in the warm-up. And it is an accident by every virtue of that word. It is not a high-level, difficult vault, and she is the current Chinese national champion on vaulting. So it happens sometimes with just a little bit too much rotation, and was not a difficult maneuver. It was a mistake.
She does not have the ability at all to move her legs. She does have some function in her upper extremities consistent with the level of her injury. In other words, she can move some of the muscle structures that are above the level of her injury. Her prognosis, this is a very tragic type of injury. It's a very unstable injury. It's unpredictable. So for us to make a comment about her prognosis in the face of this unpredictability is difficult.
We expect her to get back some, if not all, of her upper extremity function. Her lower extremity function we cannot comment on. I've seen patients come back 100% from these injuries. I've seen them not progress at all, so I can't really comment on her lower extremities.
She obviously is very frightened. She is a gymnast, understands the seriousness of the injury, but demonstrated through her eyes, through the few comments, basically when she said okay, that she is an incredible young lady who is prepared to fight this process through to victory.
As we mentioned in the first segment, her parents are flying in from Ningbo, China, and are expected to arrive on Friday, the day that she will undergo spinal fusion surgery. Turner Sports researcher Natasha Leo interviewed Sang Lan 3 days ago. Lan told Turner Sports she couldn't wait to come to New York and shop, especially for platform shoes. 13-year-old diver Sang Shui spoke about her good friend earlier today.
我跟他的关系很好，有什么悄悄话一般都在一起说，但是昨天他出事以后，自己感觉很不舒服。
They are very close, actually, as a matter of fact. They share a lot of talk together, a lot of secret, according to what she said. When she learned what happened last night, she's very, very sad. And you can tell she's still very upset about what happened.
祝她早日康复，早日能回到北京跟我们一起训练，完了之后争取在奥运会上能拿得金牌。
She said she wished her recover very soon and be able to go back to Beijing altogether. And hopefully she will be back to training and win gold medal at the Olympic Games.
Last night it was our medical reporter, Dr. Steve Salvatore, who was the first to tell all of us about the disquieting early diagnosis on Sanglan. Tonight, Dr. Salvatore is once again at the Nassau County Medical Center. Dr. Salvatore, what do you have up to now on Sanglan?
Well, Jim, about an hour ago, I got off the telephone with Dr. Vincent Leone, Sanglam's attending physician, the orthopedic spine surgeon, and he said as late as this afternoon, she did have some improvement in her upper extremities, meaning her upper arms. She was able to extend her wrists a little bit better than earlier, but very slight. They are hopeful about some function returning to the upper extremities, the upper arms. The lower extremities, though, they're still up in the air. Now, at this point, the spine itself has been realigned, so the spinal cord has no real pressure on it. There's still some swelling, and she is getting the corticosteroid protocol that was started last night that is critical to help get that swelling under control. Now, on the good side, at the press conference today, someone asked if she would be started on the experimental neuropeptide called GM1, which is a nerve regenerating type of drug. Now, this was used for Dennis Byrd, the Jets football player, who you remember had a spinal cord injury, and he had a great recovery, and they have gotten approval for use of this drug at this hospital, and they will be starting it tonight. There is some good news, although it doesn't necessarily mean that she'll recover.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Salvatore. Surely if there are any further developments during this evening, Dr. Salvatore will bring them to us. In the hospital, Sanglan asked her coach if she would be able to do gymnastics again.
Veterans Memorial Coliseum for day 4 of gymnastics. Hello again, everyone. There is a mixed mood inside this building tonight. There's enthusiasm for a U.S. team which has won a medal in every gymnastics competition so far in these Goodwill Games, including 2 gold medals. And there is an inescapable sadness for the Chinese team, which last night suffered a great tragedy. The Chinese national vaulting champion Sanglan, in a routine warm-up vault, crashing headfirst into the floor and suffering a fractured dislocation of the C6 on C7 vertebra. And Kathy Johnson-Clark, how does this happen to someone who is so good in this sport?
Greg, from what we've heard, Sanglan doesn't even know what happened. That's what she told her coach. So what we've pieced together, based on what I saw, based on what Bart saw, and others who were down on the floor, we believe she was doing what's called a timer. And it's a very common skill to perform in preparation to do your competitive vault, maybe on the next vault or the one after. You're going full out, but you're not doing all the flips and twists. You're just getting the timing for it. And we think she might have had too much going into it and was rotating too far to land on her feet and roll out immediately, and unfortunately decided to try and flip in the air, tucked up, and couldn't quite get far enough over and came down right on her head. And it's just a horribly sad event.
Bart Connor, there have got to be moms and dads out there who are saying, if that can happen to one of the very best, my kids are not doing gymnastics.
Well, Greg, actually, I think that's a very reasonable question. Gymnastics, and certainly there's some elements of gymnastics that can be dangerous. That is perhaps the ultimate irony here, is that she was performing a move that wasn't terribly dangerous. It was a timer, a preparation skill that gymnasts all over the world do thousands of times each day. That's the saddest part about this. It was a fluky accident. I try to draw an analogy with someone like Greg Louganis, who in the 1988 Olympics hit his head on the diving board. It was a fluke. He's the best diver in the world. He made a mistake, and that's what happened to her. Now, the results, of course, were dramatically different for Sanglan. She is perhaps paralyzed, and it's a very sad moment, and I think it's worth questioning whether we're spotting the kids enough. The coach was not negligent in not spotting this young athlete. He felt that she was safe, and she was. According to all the general requirements of gymnastics, she was doing this move perfectly well. But unfortunately, there was a 1 in a million chance she could get hurt, and it happened last night. It was very, very sad for our sport.
Well, Amanda Borden, the competition goes on. How does a gymnast compete tonight?
You know, Greg, it was a very sad moment last night, and in my 15 years of gymnastics, I've never seen anything quite like this, and I hope I never do again. But the most important thing for her teammates is to regain their focus for their own safety.
The effect of the tragedy was most apparent with the Chinese team last night on the uneven bars. Meng Fei falling off in her routine, Ling Ji having troubles with hers as well. In fact, it wasn't just the athletes who felt the tragedy. Everyone here was talking about it.
I look not to my gymnast. I think what is inside, what is the mind of the Chinese gymnast who must compete today. Because yesterday was a disaster on an even bar after vaulting.
To me, it's something along the lines of being a NASCAR driver, being in the car, seeing an accident happen on the track, and it's probably your best friend in the car that's up against the wall. You have to see that, register it, and then block it out, because if you allow that to intrude on the concentration that it takes to propel that machine 200 miles an hour around the racetrack, you're putting your own safety at risk. And it's very similar to what these athletes are facing here tonight.
Life is life, the show must go on, and I think we must learn what is necessary to learn from this accident, and we must be more careful in the future with our gymnasts.
24 hours later, Meng Fei and Ling Ji are here warming up. They will compete in the women's balance beam and floor exercise. And their goal, according to Tu Mingde, Secretary General of the Chinese Olympic Committee, his gymnasts are determined to show that in spite of the tragedy, gymnastics is also a beautiful sport. 4 events on tonight's schedule: men's rings, women's balance beam, men's vault, and women's floor exercise. And Kathy, on the balance beam, the Chinese competitor Ling Jia is the favorite, but America has Kristen Maloney.
Absolutely. Ling Jia is an artist on this event, but the U.S. can look forward to Kristen Maloney, who was a finalist at the World Championships on this event, and she has been very lucky, drawing the last spot.
And on the men's rings, Bart, we've got Blaine Wilson already picked up a bronze medal in the all-around.
That's right. He was a finalist at the Atlanta Olympics. This is a chance for him to win gold here at the Goodwill Games. He'll have tough competition from other American, Chris Lamort, and Ivan Ivankov from Belarus, the reigning world all-around champion.
But first up on the rings, it'll be the Ukraine's Roman Zozulya, who finished 4th in the Goodwill Games all-around, just behind America's Blaine Wilson. Also finished 4th in the April 1988 European Championships.
Greg had a 9.7 in the preliminary competition on this event, so he has the potential for a big score. He's a little unlucky that he's going to go first here, because the judges tend to be a little tight with the scores on the first performer, and that sort of sets the pace for the rest of them. It happens occasionally that the first guy can win, but it's very unlikely. You have to be a very well-established name to pull it off.
Well, Blaine Wilson will go last, so it may work well for him.
Certainly could. Nice double somersault. He's swinging now. Notice that he's in the inverted iron cross, but he's swinging. The judges take off 1/10 of a point for every swing of the rings. Now, he did a good job to control the handstand there, but he's just a little off, not locking out all those handstands and holding them long enough. That's too bad.
Roman Zozulya of Ukraine starts off day number 4 of Goodwill Games gymnastics competition. Individual event finals, men's rings and vault this evening, women's balance beam and floor X.
The judges require a front giant swing to a handstand like he did there, but you can see this is a perfect angle to see how he wasn't quite vertical in those handstands, not able to freeze the top. The dismount was fine.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, to the balance beam. Our first competitor from the Russian Federation. Please welcome Yevgenia Kuznetsova.
Yevgenia Kuznetsova of Russia, 17-year-old, in her tangerine outfit, will do the first one on the balance beam.
And Bart, she might have enough clout to be a little less unlucky to go first. She just recently won the European Championships on this event, so the judges are well aware of her potential here. We'd still rather go last, though. I like this routine because it has a little more unusual dance combinations than some of the others, rather than just walking around in between the tricks. And she's got some good tricks too, right here.
Kathy, she tends to be very outspoken. She said at the '96 Olympics, where she was a member of the Russian team, she was disappointed in the crowd that they only cheered for the Americans. You don't normally hear these young ladies to be so outspoken.
Well, she's giving the U.S. fans another chance tonight.
They've already been much more supportive than the fans in Atlanta. I think the people in Atlanta just didn't understand. They were so into the U.S. and how well they were doing that they missed some of the great performances like this one.
Yevgenia Kuznetsova, and the score for Roman Gozulia, 9.525.
Greg, the Ukrainian judge tried to help him. He threw a 9.75, so there is a little politics going on behind the scenes.
Chris Lamort, not just of the USA, but of Queens, Long Island, New York. The first time he has competed back home, as he says it, since high school. Lived just 30 minutes from Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum.
There's his high school coach who's lifting him up to the rings now, Kurt Friedheim. He said that Chris works down on Times Square. He works midnight to 8 as an engineer in an office building, and then he trains during the day. Go figure.
When does he sleep?
Apparently never.
He's a good New Yorker.
The national team coordinator for the U.S. program, Peter Corman, said yesterday in practice, Chris did a routine that could win. Look how low he is in that inverted iron cross. Nobody even dares to go that low.
Unbelievable.
Straight across.
We're so used to seeing them so high, this almost looks strange, but it's gorgeous.
Needs a good landing. It's a double layout.
The judges are going to be impressed with those iron crosses, let me tell you. Those were unbelievable.
Chris Lamort turns on the hometown fans with a fine rings performance.
This is what they call a Maltese cross, and that's just about as well as you can do it. His body is level with the floor, his arms completely to the side. Gorgeous position in all of his strength elements.
And the score for Kuznetsova, 9.650. When we return, America's Blaine Wilson on the ring. The score for homeboy Chris Lamort, 9.7, puts him atop the standings on the men's rings, but will it withstand the challenge of Sylvester Cholani, the reigning European and World Cup rings champion?
You see there, he's 28 years old, which is almost ancient for a gymnast these days, but he specializes in a couple of events like this one, the rings, and he hopes to compete for a couple more years. He moved back recently to Hungary from Sacramento, where he was living and coaching gymnastics. Beautiful control in these strength moves. There's the inverted iron cross. Great position, very low down into the rings. Another Maltese cross, good style points. There's a front swing to a handstand. The judges require that. Very nice control. There is the back swing to a handstand. That's the other requirement. All he has left now is a nice dismount. He'll be in first place after that routine.
Sylvester Cholan of Hungary, and the smile revealing his confidence about his routine.
The inverted iron cross, the gymnast's shoulders can't be more than 15 degrees above the perpendicular, which he showed beautifully there. Look at how straight he keeps his body and level as he does the Maltese cross.
Ivan Ivankov getting set to perform on the rings, the all-around champion of the Goodwill Games. And the score for Cholan is 9.625, and that ranks him second behind New York's Chris Lamort. Cholan not happy. Ivankov, 60 million richer. 60 million rubles, that is, after picking up the $10,000 first place prize on the men's all-around night.
I asked him the other night at dinner, I said, what can you buy with 60 million rubles? And he said, exactly the same as 10,000 US dollars. The buying power is the same.
But it looks so good in the wallet.
That's a big wallet. He's so smooth on this event. He has a terrific combination of strength work Plus, I love the rhythm that he carries into his swing elements. Nice, clean position.
Had the highest score in the rings in the all-around competition of the Goodwill Games. Bronze on the rings in the '97 Worlds.
Little pressure on him here with American Chris Lamort in first place with a 9-7 score. Ivankov is going to have to try to beat the hometown boy right here. He may do it.
Oh, that could be the difference, that little hop.
Well, Lamort took a hop as well, so based on the quality of the two routines, it's going to be very close.
Ivan Ivankov awaits his score.
I really like his body positions. Really nice, clean, tight arch. Gorgeous, laid out, full twisting double back. There's the slight hop. If he would have nailed it, the gold would be his for sure. Now it's slightly in question.
This is the silver medalist on beam from the '98 European Championships, Olga Teslenko of Ukraine.
She has such a beautiful style on this event. Oh, just a slight little break there. Won't be too big a deduction, though. Every pose is just picture perfect. Toes pointed, legs straight. Her form is most impressive.
She has a lot of confidence on this event. She hopes to, her goal is to win a medal in Sydney on this event, and she certainly has the skills and the complete techniques, doesn't she?
And the style.
The chime signifies the beginning of the warm-up period for the first half of our second rotation.
Nice tumbling pass down. Good land. Oh, just one little step. But I really love the routine. It's just beautiful form from start to finish.
Score 9.725 for Teslenko. She takes the lead. We'll read the leaderboard here. Ivan Ivankov's score was a 9.675. He is 25 thousandths behind in second. Cholon is third. And here comes a man who could unsettle the top three. This is Alexei Bondarenko of Russia, originally from Kazakhstan. Fourth in the rings in the '98 Europeans, and second in the Goodwill Games all around.
Greg, I have to say about that score for Ivankov, I thought his score was a little bit low. Because he took the hop on the landing, he put it right in the judge's lap, and I think that our hometown gymnast got the benefit of the doubt, let's say there. Nothing against Chris Lamort. I think he's a terrific performer, but I think Ivankov should be at least tied with him. Bondarenko has the potential to beat both of them, but he'll have to be perfect because the scores are very tight, within 25 thousandths of a point. This is a nice combination. 2 in a row, doubles within the rings, and a clean swing to the handstand. That's the best we've seen him do that. Oh, there's the landing.
Well, Chris Lamort has things to be nervous about now as he awaits the score of Alexei Bondarenko.
It may be all academic because Blaine Wilson could beat all of them. He's coming up last. This is an amazing combination. 2 doubles within the rings. The first laid out, the second one in the tuck position. And what's so impressive is how he swung cleanly to that handstand.
Ling Jia of China, balance beam, just 15 years old, and this is the favorite, according to her coaches, to win the balance beam in Sydney 2000 games.
It's a pretty big prediction, but I've seen her work out on this event, and I might be right there with them. Oh, no. Very, very difficult mount on the balance beam if you're just the slightest bit off. That's too bad because this is the routine that could win.
Beam is only 4 inches wide, 4 feet high.
Watch the amplitude on that pass. That is so difficult, first and foremost. But to be that high off the balance beam on that middle skill is unbelievable. There's really no way in the world that what happened to her teammate is not affecting their performance. It's just, particularly on the balance beam, it's very easy to let things come in to your mind. Still, they are showing us what they hope to tonight, and that gymnastics is beautiful, even when mistakes are made, as she made early in the routine. There's no getting around how lovely that routine is choreographed.
Ling Jia.
Watch her, she's just the tiniest little bit off. She's straight, but once she starts to swing down, she comes down more on one leg. That is unbelievable. That's just phenomenal. She is so high on that middle element, and it's difficult to begin with.
Bondarenko awaits his score, needs a 9-7 to take the lead or tie for the lead. He only gets a 9-6-7-5. He is now tied for second with Ivankov, and Blaine Wilson comes up. If Lamort or Wilson win, they will become the first American male gymnast to win a Goodwill gold since Lance Ringnauld tied for first on the high bar back in 1990 in an individual event.
Blaine was a finalist at the Olympics. He knows the pressure of the finals. He knows what he has to do.
But how about the right shoulder, Bart?
That inverted cross is not as good as some of the others. Here is the move that really cranks his shoulder, and he's a little low.
Been enduring rotator cuff problems.
He has a very explosive dismount. Look at the control in that handstand. Here's his power. Uh-oh. Like the others, a hop. This will be interesting to see what the judges will do here.
It will take more than 9.7 to pull the lead away from teammate Chris Lamort.
This is the bounce cross. You can see the strain in his face. The right shoulder is a little lower, and that's the shoulder where the problem is. You know that hurts. Same dismount that we saw from Ivankov and the same hop that we saw from Ivankov. Now it's in the hands of the judges, and I don't know what they're going to come up with this time.
Gia on the balance beam, 9.250. We move to Kristen Maloney of the USA.
Very lucky to have drawn the last position, competing as the final competitor here.
From Allentown, Pennsylvania, where she trains with the Parkettes.
She was a finalist at the World Championships last year on this event.
The last champion on the balance beam in the '94 Goodwill Games was American Shannon Miller.
Very big pass on the balance beam. Good landing. So much concentration, so many repetitions in the gym to perfect this event, and particularly to prepare for competition. She's trying to stick the landing right here. Excellent job. She has done her job. That's as well as Kristen can do this routine. No movement on most of the landings throughout.
Kristen Maloney, USA. Her favorite color is green, and maybe it'll be green prize money tonight, $2,000 for first.
I think first and foremost, she's looking for gold. When you go for landings like that, that's what you have in mind.
Score for Blaine Wilson of the USA, 9.650. It ranks him 4th, so America's Chris Lamort will win the rings competition. Ivan Ivankov and Alexei Bondarenko will be tied for 2nd. Kristen Maloney's score, ranked number 1, 9.775. She got the green and the gold. On the women's balance beam, a gold medal for America's Kristen Maloney. Olga Teslenko of Ukraine takes the silver, and bronze for Karina Ungurianu of Romania. And the men on the rings, another gold medal for the USA. Chris Lamort, who lives just a half-hour away from the Coliseum, picks up gold. Ivan Ivankov and Alexei Bondarenko tie for 2nd. Blaine Wilson 4th. And we'll have lots more when we return, including Vanessa Atler of the USA.
Goodwill double gold pantheon, as did Russians Alexei Nemov and Nikolai Kryukov in the vault. Back to gymnastics, contested earlier this evening, and Greg Lewis.
2 events down, 2 to go. Women's floor exercise and the men's vault. And Bart, the world champion on the men's vault, is coming up.
Yes, Fedorchenko is just an explosive vaulter. Now tonight, you can't get lucky on one vault. You have to get lucky on 2. And so they're requiring a high level of difficulty in these events, and they're going to have to nail the landings. He is terrific, and he's first to go.
On the floor exercise, Kathy, Vanessa Atler goes for another gold medal.
Absolutely. And even though Svetlana Horkina is in the field, this is a great opportunity for her to show off a new, very dynamic opening tumbling run. She won a gold medal yesterday, and the Americans are scoring really well today, so she's got a shot here.
Really well. Starting off tonight, 2 gold medals for Chris Lamort in the rings, for Krista Maloney on the beam. And just moments ago, Amanda Borden caught up with them.
I am here with 2 of tonight's champions, Chris Lamort and Krista Maloney. Chris, you used to be an all-around gymnast. You are now a ring specialist. Obviously, it paid off. Can you tell me how it feels to win in front of your hometown crowd?
It's unbelievable. That's all I can say. I mean, I'm excited. I have about 80 people here, friends, family, people I haven't seen in about 10 years, and I'm ecstatic. I can't even describe the feeling.
And Kristen, you said coming into this competition you wanted to better your performance. You did have a mistake in your last competition. Obviously that happened tonight. How does this build your confidence for the future?
It does a lot, actually. I was really nervous because I was last up and everybody's getting 9.7s and 9.6, and I just try to stay focused and try to do what I did in warm-ups and in practice.
Congratulations to both of you.
Thank you.
Well, will there be any more gold medals on the program tonight for the USA? Sergei Fedorchenko intends to make that impossible on the vault for the men. He is the defending world vault champion.
Watch how far he lands from the horse on this. Oh, beautiful landing.
Look how far out he landed that vault. He almost needed another mat at the end.
He landed in Brooklyn. This is the handspring double front, 3 somersaults in all, and he opened up effortlessly, and you can't even see the horse in the shot. That's how far away he landed.
2 vaults, 2 scores. Average will be what they take onto the leaderboard. And Fedorchenko has had a rough Goodwill game so far.
Well, he was all over the place in the all-around competition, fell off the high bar 3 times. He had the same disaster at the Olympics in '96. It looks like this guy is either on or he's not.
Well, he goes for it.
That vault is a start value of 10.0. All the vaults are judged based on their difficulty rating. It's kind of like a diver. When they give a difficulty rating, a degree of difficulty.
He's a big man, Fedorchenko, 5'8". Advantage, disadvantage in the vault.
Well, generally, the little compact guys have the advantage for the flipping skills. But he doesn't look as powerful as he is, and he's really loaded with that fast twitch muscle fiber, which comes in real handy on an event like this. He's very quick off the floor.
Waiting anxiously for his score from the first vault. He's the only competitor from Kazakhstan. And the score from the first vault, a 9.725.
Very nice score. Vaulting is one of those events where you have to roll the dice, go for a high level of difficulty, and hope you get lucky on the landing. Now he's going to do a vault here that has only a 9.8 start value, a little less than the first vault, but watch how this thing flies.
And he finally gets a chance to smile at the Goodwill games. Fedorchenko sticks the second one. Romania's Simona Amanar. We call her Silver Simona. Second in the floor in the 98 Europeans and a silver medalist in the floor exercise in Atlanta.
She is really a tumbling machine. She has it all. She can flip, she can twist.
Fedorchenko, second vault, 9.375. Final average, 9.550. So that will be the score to beat for the men on the vault.
Certainly the most impressive aspect of that routine were the tumbling runs.
Simona Amanar spending herself in the effort on the floor. And we'll have Svetlana Horkina next.
Sunday on National Geographic Explore.
Prayers are with you from the USA men's gymnastics team. Best wishes.
Good luck, son.
Good luck, son.
Good luck.
Get well.
Recover soon.
Meng Fei of Beijing on the floor.
This is really an enjoyable routine. Watch the choreography and the beautiful footwork throughout.
Amanar score 9.725 on the floor. She is the leader.
By far the best dancer in the group. Best choreography. A little weak on that final tumbling run on the landing.
Meng Fei of China, just 17, fourth on the floor in the 97 Worlds.
There's no way the judges don't just love her dance. Right here, though, on the double pike, she was a tiny bit low and had to step forward. And that will be a slight deduction.
Elena Prudhanova of Russia setting up for the floor exercise. Score for Meng Fei, 9.525, ranks her third now for the women's floor.
I describe this routine as saucy. I mean, she just really flirts with the audience and the judges, and She's got attitude here.
It couldn't be a bigger contrast from Meng Fei, who is light as a butterfly. Watch this powerhouse.
She punches so hard she can almost break the floor.
She's a fine classical pianist, so she's got to have feeling for the music, the emotion.
She can tumble, though. Double twist into a punch front.
On opening night, we talked about how she's very superstitious. She carries a stuffed rabbit with her, reads a prayer from her mother, always reads the horoscope. Today, in New York Newsday, the horoscope said, "You're on the right track."
She'll need to be with this tumbling pass coming up here, Kathy.
She had trouble in the all-around competition. And this takes muscles in every part of your body to make. Handspring double front.
Yeah.
That's a shame. She has a lingering foot problem, too, so hopefully that didn't further exacerbate the problem.
Elena Protonova, 97 Worlds floor exercise bronze medalist. When we come back, the silver medalist. Standings at this point, Amanar of Romania is in the lead, and the score for Elena Protonova was a 9.250, which moves her into fourth. Here's the man who 1 night ago won the pommel horse. It is Nikolai Kryukov. He goes for his second gold of these Goodwill games, and a silver medalist in the 97 Worlds on vault.
This will be the handspring double front vault. Oh my goodness.
He had it stuck perfectly, and then he had to move that right foot just a little bit.
If he'd have spun those arms any harder, he would have taken off again.
He hurt his knee back in November of '97. That's why he has it wrapped, and yet he still dares to go for this intense vault.
Watch this. This is like bombs away from this angle. Look at
Really,
this.
it's like a cannonball off a diving board into your home swimming pool.
Look
and
how
he nailed it.
Perfect he is, though, right between the lines. I can't believe he actually pulled it around. I didn't think he was going to do it. Not only did he do it, he almost stuck it cold.
Pulling the legs apart like that is called cowboying your somersault. That allows you to flip a little bit faster. Cowboy because they're bowed legs.
Kryukov, 9.8. And that is the highest score that has been given on the vault.
Here's vault number 2.
Now this vault here should be a 9.8 start value. That's the maximum he can score on this, so he'll need a clean landing here if he hopes to stay in first place over Fedorchenko.
Oh.
Okay, a couple of hops.
Well, Fedorchenko's 2 vault average, 9.650.
That means an average of 9.5 on this vault. Would tie him with Fedorchenko. Those 3 hops certainly didn't help.
Now to the floor exercise.
It's up to the judges now. And here she is, Svetlana Horkina, gold medalist on the uneven bars last night. And her personality is as colorful as her opalescent outfit here.
I'd say that's an understatement. She really has fun with this routine. Watch her eye contact with the audience. She flirts with them.
Horkina, silver medalist, floor 97 Worlds.
Oh.
Score score to beat belongs to Amanar of Romania, 9.725.
Even after a mistake, her attitude says, hey, I'm still pretty good, aren't I?
This is where she had trouble in the all-around. 2.5 twist, punch front. Oh, not a bad routine. Her legs buckled on her on that middle tumbling run, and that will be pretty sizable deduction. It's hard to say what the judges are going to do. It wasn't exactly a fall, but it was a lunge.
Nikolai Kryukov, 2-vault score, average 9.6, and that will rank him second. So he had a shot at taking over the lead. Now here's a man who can take over the lead. His teammate, Alexei Nemov. Nemov won the gold medal in the floor exercise last night.
Double front. Oh. Now this is a vault he's been working on this spring, and it's been rather inconsistent, as you can see there. He was going to have to get a little lucky to make that, I'm afraid. Doesn't quite have the technique and the power that we saw from Fedorchenko and even Kryukov. He doesn't get launched in the air quite as well as they did, and it was just his fate was pretty much sealed after he blocked off the horse.
No, you're right, Bart. He didn't get enough push here or drive into the somersault. See, he's below the level of the horse as he's going into the second somersault. There's no way.
Parkin's score on the floor puts her in fifth, 8.975. Nemov, the gold medalist in vault from the Atlanta Olympic Games.
Now for his second vault.
Now this vault is a chance, rather than requiring power, this is where he's going to show a little power but some finesse. Has a 10-0 start value, and it is complicated. 1.5.
Oh, very low landing. He pulled it out, but his chest was down on his leg.
And when we return, America's Vanessa Atler goes for another gold. Vanessa Atler of the USA prepares to take the floor. Last night, women's vault competition, winning with soaring confidence. This young American who is now the leading prospect for success in Sydney in 2000. Showing great poise here in these Goodwill games.
Well, Simona Amanar is in the lead right now, and it's really based on her tumbling, and Vanessa Atler can out-tumble her if she just hits these passes.
Amanar's score, 9.725.
Here comes that first pass you were talking about, Kathy.
It's a big one, and it's new for Vanessa. Double layout, punch front, right into a ring lead. Gorgeous.
Nemov's vault score, second vault, 9.625. Average, 9.487, now in fifth.
This is a new routine by her coach, Beth Rybacki and Nancy Roach.
Vanessa Atler needs more than 9.725 to put herself into position for a second gold medal in these Goodwill games.
There's no chance they're not going to give it to her, Greg.
Especially with a pass like this, Bart. You're absolutely right. Double layout. Watch the springs in her legs go to work.
Doing.
Talk about explosive.
Back to the vault. Please welcome.
Young Vanessa Adler, her second gold of these Goodwill Games, the only athlete in gymnastics to take 2 gold medals so far. What a start for her. And the men's vault, the world champion Sergei Fedorchenko retains his gold medal status by winning here, the Americans finishing in 6th and 8th. So far for the USA in gymnastics, 5 gold, 2 silver, and 2 bronze. Tomorrow night it continues with the start of rhythmic gymnastics and the men's parallel bars and high bar finals. Stay with us.
At the conclusion of tonight's competition, head coach for the Romanian team, Octavian Belu, stormed out of the gym, and he said, "We're not competing anymore. The competition is not fair." In his own words, he said, "We don't need to be sparring partners while the Americans win all the gold medals or compete at the American National Championships," as he called it. Now, I spoke with Adrian Stoica, the Secretary General of the Gymnastics Federation in Romania, about Mr. Belu's concern. There are 4 judges that comprise the panel that determine the execution value. 2 of those 4 judges are Americans. It is a little unusual in international competition. I talked to Mr. Stoica about this concern.
Well, we don't want to be nasty. We came here with an open heart. We came here to have a nice competition. We have had, and we still consider that we have excellent relation with the USGF, and we hope that they will continue in good manner in future. But we really want to don't continue in this way.
Stoica agreed to wait until tomorrow to make a firm decision, and frankly, that means it's a decision that more or less makes itself, because with only the mixed pairs competition remaining for the women artistic gymnasts, their meet is all but finished anyway. Meanwhile,